Hello, hello, hello. I am Josetta Yvonne, your abundant life and divorce coach, coming on for a quick moment with a quick message on this Tuesday. And I hope this video finds you well. So, I was coming on because I thought about a conversation I had recently with a friend, and we were talking about children. And the interesting thing, what he said, I've heard many other people say it before, but for some reason, this time, it just really struck me to what he was saying. And so we're having a conversation about a mutual associate, and he made the comment that she shouldn't be upset or she shouldn't be annoyed because he knows she gets plenty of money from her child's father, and she has nothing to complain about. And when he said that, I paused, because in that moment, I realized that he was associating showing up as a parent and putting all the value in the financial piece. So I said to him, being a parent, in my perspective, is more than just financial. Giving someone money to contribute to the welfare of your child being raised is just a portion. Your children also have emotional needs, and they need people to show up for them in that manner. He didn't respond. He didn't have any rebuttal. But I told him, or I explained to him, and I wanted to share this because I think many times people do feel like if they are contributing financially to their child, or if someone is receiving support financially, that should be enough. You should not be asking for anything else. And although receiving financial support is amazing, is great if you're getting it, especially if you don't even have to ask for it, somebody automatically takes care of their child, the child still has emotional needs. There are still ways you have to show up and be present, because our children have feelings. We just can't throw money at them. They show up every day. They are little people, just like we are big people, and they are navigating the world through a lens of their own. And so we have to be mindful when we feel like just giving our money is enough. And I think one way to put yourself in that child's shoes is to think back when yourself was a child and the things you needed and the way you needed adults to show up for you that may not have been happening. I think about a week or so ago, my son came home and he was upset. And, one of his friends was out riding his ATV, his four-wheeler. He had a wreck. It was really bad. He ended up having to have surgery. And we had to talk through the emotions he had and him being upset about it and him feeling embarrassed about kind of crying about it, because he was like, he's my best friend. I'm upset about it. I can't believe this is happening to him. I hope he's going to be okay. He's been out of school for a week. I think that's an aspect that, I'm not going to say all people, but I think that's an aspect that many people forget, that children are people and we're having to navigate their emotions and help them also manage them as well, and teach them how and when and what to do and what's appropriate or may not be appropriate. As a parents, we're guiding them. And so money cannot guide them. Yes, money can put food on their table, clothes on their back, give them shelter, but your presence, them being able to see how you navigate this world, adds a lot more. And I think that sometimes when parents aren't present, they forget that. They're off, living in their new world. And I just think sometimes people just forget. They forget that financially showing up is amazing, but being present and checking in with your child emotionally and seeing where they are, how they feel, what's going on in their head, it's just as important. I haven't read the statistics lately, but I know, was it last year? They're talking about, the increased amount of kids that are actually committing suicide. And I think that's why it is so important that we are checking in and having conversations with our children, because sometimes things are just happening under our nose and we're so busy, or we feel like we've done enough, we've paid our payment or whatever, that we don't have to check in with them. And that can make some kids feel isolated or alone, or they don't have an outlet, especially if you have like two parents that are both going hardcore with their careers and not paying attention or really available. I can remember talking to my mom when I got older, because she had two jobs when I was in high school. But when I was younger, she always just had one. And she spoke about the reason why she only had that one when we were younger. And as a single parent, she said she wanted to make sure she could keep her finger on the pulse with us and see exactly what was going on. And she felt like if she had tried to take on more than one job at that time when we were younger, that she may not could have been as emotionally supportive or available and aware of what we were doing, because she would have been so busy with work. Her 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, was, enough of a stressor, taking her away where she couldn't show up during the week. So adding up another job to work on weekends to her just wasn't an option, because she felt like you're already having to go to your grandparents' house during the week while I'm working, and they're helping me, and they're taking, sending you off to school. I can't afford to make it all about work all the time to provide for you. We just won't have certain things, because I need to make sure that as a single parent, that mentally and emotionally you are in the right headspace, that you're not, feeling alone or by yourself, or being bullied to the point to where you feel like you have nowhere else to go. It's just so many things. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and say that, because different kids have different personalities. Some are going to share, others are not going to share. And sometimes it's just being around a child and asking them, hey, you're quiet today, what's going on? Or what happened today that was interesting at school? How's your so-and-so friend? I see he's on Roblox playing today. Did you get to talk and catch up with so-and-so? Or I ran into whatchamacallit's mom at the grocery store. How are you? And so, it's they're just navigating different things with friendships. And I'm sure if you remember when you were a kid, sometimes you had friendship breakups that hurt. Or sometimes you had, just different things where you're on the outs with people that are your BFFs, and you didn't imagine you guys would ever be there. So this may be common sense to some people, and they may think this is stupid. But I want you to be mindful, because I've heard, like I said, men and women make the same comment, that it takes more than finances to raise a child. We have to show up and be physically present to see where they are in their head, in their hearts, because there's just so much going on out here. And there's definitely more going on out here now today than there was when I was a kid. And now that I think about it, I can even remember when I first got my son his PlayStation. I remember having to go on to make sure I had the parental controls on it, because there were adult women, I guess based off his name, reaching out saying like, things that seemed almost sexual in the messaging area. So I had to make sure I changed his settings to where no one could see him. So yeah, just have the conversations with your children. Like I said, I know we work hard, we want to provide for our children and make sure they're good financially, and give them the things that we may not have had, but it's also to give them the things that you did have, especially when it comes to emotional stability and their mental health, because everyone doesn't have grandparents standing in the gap and available. So many times it has to be the parent that is juggling it all. So anyway, I hope this found you well. I hope that came out clear and with clarity. And I'm about to get back to work. You guys stay in peace, stay positive, and stay empowered. Have an amazing Tuesday. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.